You know those people who wear the exact same thing every single day? I mean, think Steve Jobs with his block turtleneck, or even Einstein in that gray suit. Well, today, we're diving deep into the surprising psychology behind the personal uniform, and trust me, it is probably not what you think. So what's your first reaction when you see that? Do you think, wow, that's just lazy? Or maybe a total lack of creativity? Or could it actually be a stroke of genius, a secret strategy for living a more focused, more intentional life? That's the big question we're going to tackle. Okay, and check this out. This quote completely flips the script. The source material tells us this isn't about laziness at all. It's a sign of a specific cognitive architecture. Now, what does that even mean? Well, in plain English, it means it's a very particular way the brain is wired for maximum efficiency. It's a deliberate choice, a system, not just someone who can't be bothered to pick out a new shirt. This really lays out the whole debate perfectly. On one hand, you've got the myth. It's laziness, apathy, zero sense of style. But on the other hand, the reality we're unpacking today is so much deeper. It's actually a tool for strategy, a way to lock in your focus, and maybe most importantly, a profound expression of self-knowledge. So let's break that down. All right, first things first. It all starts with what we can call your inner compass. This whole idea is that your real sense of who you are doesn't come from what other people think. Nope, it's built on something way deeper, something much more stable inside you. Now, the fancy term for this is an internal locus of identity. I know, it's a bit of a mouthful, but the idea behind it is actually super simple. It just means that your identity, your core sense of you, comes from the inside. You're the one steering the ship, not the changing winds of what's cool this week or what other people expect of you. And this is where it gets really powerful. See, when your sense of self is that strong and comes from within, you just don't need your clothes to be a status symbol or a shout for attention. You don't need that daily like from the outside world to feel like you exist. Your uniform then becomes this quiet, powerful statement of self-assurance. And that self-assurance we were just talking about, it leads us right into the second big idea here. When you stop looking for approval from the outside, you stop wasting energy on it. And this is all about protecting your most valuable and definitely most limited resource, your mental energy. Because every single day, you're fighting a battle against something called decision fatigue. And this chart, wow, this just nails the problem, doesn't it? For so many of us, almost all of our mental energy gets eaten up by these tiny, pointless decisions. Should I have the oatmeal or the eggs? Which way should I drive to work? And the big one, what am I going to wear today? By the time we're done with all that, there's almost nothing left in the tank for the stuff that actually matters. Seriously, every single one of those small, seemingly harmless choices, it's like a tiny crack in your reservoir of focus. And by the time you finally get to the work that truly matters, you're already running on empty. But now, look at this. Look at the difference when you just automate one decision, like your clothes. The shift is just massive. You eliminate that one little choice, and you free up a huge amount of mental space. All that energy can now go exactly where you want it to, towards the things you actually care about. So the question is, how do you actually make this happen? Well, it's a pretty simple three-step process. First, you automate the small choices. Second, you consciously take that energy you saved and reinvest it. And third, you pour that energy into what the source material calls your M-shaped pillars. Think of these as the big foundational things that hold up your entire life. Your career, your family, your health, your personal growth, the important stuff. And all of this brings us to our final and maybe the most powerful point of all. A personal uniform isn't about hiding or trying to be invisible. Far from it. It's about making a totally different kind of statement, one that's perfectly aligned with your deepest personal values. This is what it means to be what the source calls a personal believer. Your choices are proactive, not reactive. You're not getting dressed to impress a boss, you're not trying to follow some trend, and you're definitely not looking for social media likes. You're dressing in a way that reflects your own internal philosophy, a philosophy of focus, intention, and purpose. And this is where everything clicks. Your uniform completely transforms. It stops being about fashion and starts being about what you prioritize. It becomes a physical symbol, a daily reminder to yourself and to the world of what truly matters to you. It's a quiet way of saying, my energy is focused on something more important. Okay, let's do a quick recap with this summary.
the misconception that a uniform is all about needing outside approval, but the psychological reality is the complete opposite. It comes from a strong internal identity. It protects your energy for the big stuff, those M-shaped pillars, and it's driven by your own values. And that really brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. We spend so much time looking for these big, complicated life hacks to be more productive, more fulfilled. But what if the key isn't some complex new system at all? What if your simplest, most overlooked choice of the day could actually be your most powerful one? It's definitely something to think about. Subscribe and follow for more.